check. Okay, what is up, everybody? Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are doing good out there. It is, of course, your boy, The Legal Mindset. And this is Andrew Esquire. This is The Legal Mindset, where I teach you to be your own judge. Coming to you from the new temporary studio. This is where I'll be broadcasting the next 7 days, 5 days, 5 days, 5 days. So different location here in Tokyo, Japan. A little bit more chill. We're in comfy mindset mode here on the couch, but good to see everybody. We have a really great show for you guys today, and we are indeed live. So yeah, good to see everybody up in the house. Hail to the BLM. Shout out. We're going to be talking about BLM today. What's up, FPS Sonny, Danielle, Patrick Kennedy, Jim Satala, Citizen of the Republic, Mike Pagel, Gene XO. Good to see you. XOXO to you as well. As you guys are coming in here right now, we've already got about we're pushing towards 100 right now. So make sure to smash that like button as you come in the door. And if you're on Rumble, make sure you are hitting that pussy. Hit that pussy on the way in. We're gonna have a little warm up here today. Got a lot to cover, but we are going to cover a ton today because, of course, it has been a minute. So we're going to catch up today with a lot of different topics. Oh, what's up, Matrix? Good to see you. A member for 12 months. It says, love you, Andrew. O-Town native. What's going on, my O-Town, Ho-Town? I'm joking. I love you, O-Town people. Listen, I should be back in Orlando when I visit Florida. I will definitely be up in Orlando to visit my friends, to visit folks up there. I miss it. I miss some of the food up there. I miss some of the people up there, just hanging out and having a good time in the dirty Lando. It was great. It was great. Why didn't you attend the gala at Mar-a-Lago with Rackets, Viva, and Mouse? Wait, was that a thing? They went to Mar-a-Lago? That's cool. That's cool. I didn't know they did. I didn't know there was a gala. Didn't hear about it at all. Wasn't told about it. Wasn't invited. I was on that list. No more Korean bathroom VIP. No, this is a Japanese living room. So, I mean, from a Korean bathroom to a Japanese living room. Is that an upgrade? I think it's an upgrade. Actually, this place is actually quite nice. The bedroom's behind me, but I closed the door because it's got a very specific chandelier that would 100% dox my location. Joseph Benowitz says, good evening from Davenport. Good evening. Good evening. Good to see you. Good to see you. Just hitting my Suntory water here this morning. You know, you can tell you're in Japan when everything is branded Suntory. But we're going to jump right into it. And I want to jump right into it with an article that I think will warm us up for the day. We need a warm up. So before I get into Cenk and Elon and this attempt to delay on the part of Disney, we gotta handle something first. We do have to handle something first. Patrick Kennedy says, using my 2 pregnancy chats. Yes. You're very pregnant. So push them all out, Patrick. What we've got to handle first here, guys, is we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. We need to read this article. This is an actual factual CNN article. Cuckolding can be positive for some couples. I am not making this up. And just to show you guys, this is not just a headline that was somewhere on, somewhere on the internet, the interwebs, and they're totally mocking what's real. No. Just to show you guys, here's the actual article. Cuckolding can be positive for some couples, study says. So we now have the leftist media, of course, CNN, the mouthpiece of Democrats, telling you what I've told you the entire time. They want you to be cuckolds, okay? whether you are gay, straight, whatever. They want you to be cuckolds. They want this. This is the only way they've realized the system can go forward is if you are accepting another man as your baby daddy. Yeah. So this is new. This is great. So let's just go down here and see what it says. In our current political climate, the term cuck, short for cuckservative. Okay, hold on a second, real quick. Why is CNN defending cuckservative? Have you ever thought about that? Why is CNN a leftist piece defending cuckservatives? Maybe because there's a uniparty. Maybe because the uniparty is all in on it together. But cuck did not derive simply from cuckservative. Cuckolding far predates the political use of the term, right? This is an actual factual attempt to destroy the origin of what we're talking about here, right? So obviously that's not the origin at all. Aim to make men view as spineless and emasculated. The slur has its roots in the concept of cuckolding or having an adulterous partner. But according to a recent study, guys, there's a study by David J. and Dan Savage. Okay, we're gonna ask those folks. The acting on cuckolding fantasies can be a largely positive experience and hardly a sign of weakness. Cuckolding has been fetishized as a powerful sex fantasy for some men who get aroused by the idea of their romantic partner engaging in sexual activity with someone else. Women also share this fantasy, but less than men. Oh boy. Emasculated men are easier to rule. Absolutely. People who are willing to accept this, that are willing to normalize this, are 100% easier to control. Welcome to the legal mindset, by the way. This is how we warm up on the legal mindset. Fanta said, what did I walk into? I'm like, this is what you walked into, because this is what the reality is. The numbers suggest that cuckolding, or at least thinking about, is common. Thousands of Americans, 58% of men, and about a third of women have fantasized about cuckolding. Okay, what does this do but confirm, right? What does this do but confirm what we have been saying, what I have been saying, what my boy WRECKS has been saying? We've been saying this forever. We've been putting out this forever, that yes, the majority of people, particularly Democrat men, right, leftist men, and some of these conservatives, but I'll use that term, are into it. I wouldn't put it past it. Thousands of Democrats, yes, very much true. Very much true. Initially viewed as a heterosexual phenomenon, it's increasingly prevalent among gay men. Gay men. That's why Dan Savage knows about it. Right? Similar, most notably, interracial and BDSM themes don't appear to be as common in gay men's cuckolding as they are amongst hetero men. Part of what makes cuckolding arousing for heterosexual men is it's taboo. Yes, it's degenerate and absolutely disgusting. It's not cuckolding if there isn't an element of humiliation, degradation, or denial. Our erotic imaginations have the ability to turn shame lemons into delicious kink lemonade. There's some drinks that you do not want. The reward can be amazing, according to couples who successfully folded cuckold play into their relationships. You know who did that? A little guy named Jack Murphy. See how well that worked out for him. Natasha for 2 says, is this live? We are indeed live right now, Natasha. See, my buttons are almost fully buttoned, so we are definitely live. And also, big up to Tank Rat for getting the gift memberships out there. Thank you so much, Tank Rat. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you click on accept gift membership in order to get those gift memberships in order to be part of the BLM. And I just have to say, you guys have been coming up big with memberships. It's been really great to see a sea of green in the chat. Thank you so much for helping make that happen, for making that possible. And I love it when I see member chats. I love it when I see people able to send member chats. So Base Legal Mindset, Replay Gang, love you guys all. Whichever tier you guys join at, I really appreciate you guys. The memberships have been coming through and really helping me, and really helped me do this on a month-to-month basis, because I know I've got members that are backing me up and that are here for my content. So appreciate you, Tank Rat. Wait, CNN Health is saying there's 2 genders. Uh-oh. Scadios. Uh-oh. And is this live coming through with 20 gift memberships? Holy thank you so much. Is this live? Appreciate you so much in the gift memberships. Guys, we should be all green. Accept those gift memberships. Click on this gift. Click it on Is This Live? Because we are indeed live right now. You also get access to the emojis. You get access to the members-only content, which there is a lot of members-only content, including pretty much every Pimpcast. So go ahead and check that out, and go ahead and make sure that you are subscribing, getting those memberships, accepting those memberships. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Is This Live and Tank Rat? You guys are VIPs today. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And as you can see, reply by mail, you've got all the amazing emojis here: the soju, the toilet, the vampire, the cat girl. Got everything. The rat. It's great. Natasha says, speaking of Cuck Murphy, is there any new legal slapdown from the Blaze to Sid, the feminazi, aka the conservathought? So Sydney Watson, who by the way blocked me on Twitter, so you know it shows that Sydney is salty, and her cuck also went out there and threw some jabs directly at me for let's say coming at Sydney with fair points about the lack of conservativeness in her arguments, in her stance, in her positions. I have not seen any major updates on that, but I will follow up on that case. I'm obviously very interested in that case, just like with the Disney case, where I'm pretty much giving you all the major twists and turns. And we do have a major update today, or at least an update in Disney's strategy today and their attempted delay. So we'll talk about that towards the end. But I will stay on top of the Sydney case. Oh, trust me. Not the quartering. No, I would never, ever, ever say Jeremy is in that position. Never. But thank you so much, Natasha. Appreciate the super chat. All right. And let's see. We're over there on Rumble. Good to see you. What's up on Rumble to everybody who's over there? What's up, Darth Hideous, Dark Fox, Selwyn? Good to see everybody here. P-Dub, all you guys smashing pussy over there, all 50 of you over there on Rumble. Appreciate you. And then over on Locals, we have Patrick Kennedy for $2 says button up. I'm as buttoned up as it goes. I don't button the top button. I mean, that's like a really large super chat to try to get me to do that. But I'm not, top button is not happening. But it'll stay like this. It'll stay like this. It'll stay buttoned up. I'll give you that. Okay. So, let's see. What do we got here? Okay, let's start with Elon. We're going to start with Elon. So what I want to show you guys is this here. I believe this is the one. Hold on, let me make sure I got it here. Yeah. There you go. All right. So this is the clip from Joe Rogan where Elon is talking about George Soros. I also post this on my Twitter, so you guys can see this. If you want this clip, just take it off my Twitter. You can download it off my Twitter. But this is him talking about George Soros and the effect of George Soros, particularly on DAs, which I thought is poignant. And I really wanted to jump in on this because this has become something that has gone wild. I just watched a clip today from Topanga. I know I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but it was about a store full of designer clothes that was just cleaned out by looters, by people that were just stealing from the store, just coming in and taking everything. Just a huge group, just stealing everything in the store, just absolutely cleaning it out, just grabbing handfuls of stuff, walking out, right? Walking out. So this is what's been encouraged by the leftist DAs, by the people put in there by Soros. So let me play this clip and let you guys.
I mean, Soros actually, you know, he is, I believe, the top contributor to the Democratic Party. The second one was Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah. Yes, so, which is true.
And Soros, I don't know. I mean, he had a very difficult upbringing, and in my opinion, he fundamentally hates humanity. That's my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
Pretty good opinion.
Well, he's doing things that erode the fabric of civilization. You know, getting DAs elected who refuse to prosecute crime. That's part of the problem in San Francisco and LA and a bunch of other cities. So why would you do that?
Was it humanity, or is it just the United States as a whole?
I mean, he's pushing things in other countries too.
He's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
What's up, Ty? Good to see you, Ty.
George at this point is pretty old. I mean, he's not, you know, he's basically a bit senile at this point. But I mean, he's very smart. And he's very good at arbitrage. You know, famously, he shorted the British pound. That's sort of how I think he made his
nut. Yeah, he made his
money was shorting the pound. So he's good at spotting, basically arbitrage, like spotting value for money that other people don't see. So one of the things he noticed was that that the value for money in local races is much higher than it is in national races. So the lowest value for money is a presidential race. Then next lowest value for money is a Senate race, then a Congress, and then. But once you get to sort of city and state district attorneys, the value for money is extremely good. And Soros realized that you don't actually need to change the laws; you just need to change how they're enforced. If nobody chooses to enforce the law, or the laws are differentially enforced, it's like changing the laws. That's.
And so, okay, so like real quick, that's why I think, I mean, Elon is spot on here, because the thing is that with Soros, he has been focusing, that has been his political strategy, is to actually just fund the local races, right? So you're funding your DAs, excuse me. You're funding your DAs, you're funding your local politicians, because you do get a much bigger ROI on your money. So you're able to control that politician, to own that politician, and fully dictate the policy in a city, in a county, right? That's much more powerful than going up to the federal level, because you can just say, hey, don't enforce that law. And that's what we're seeing when I talk about these thefts that we're seeing. It's because they are not they're not enforcing the law. They're not arresting these people. They're not charging these people. They're just letting them go. But they are arresting you evil protesters, right? Cenk was talking about in his interview with Tim Pool, which we're going to get to. We're going to get to the snippet that the minute snippet that I really want to get into, because it deals with the law. But Cenk was going off about being assaulted by a crazy MAGA Republican right-winger. It was literally an old man who said, don't talk about President Trump like that, because Cenk said he was going to beat up Trump, right? That he was going to physically assault Trump. So the old guy was like, don't talk like that about the president. Don't talk about that about like Trump. And Cenk called that assault, right? And this is like an old man, like an 80-year-old man who's saying that to Cenk. So once again, this is the type of thing that the DAs will come in and prosecute. They'll come in and charge that old man with assault for exercising his free speech, but they won't arrest folks in Chaz or in Chop, right? So when people die in those areas, which they did, which happened, you know, in Chaz, Chop, those George Floyd areas were shot up. Oh, those people can walk free. BLM, oh, they can walk free. And not the base legal mindset. And that's been a huge change to our society. It's been a massive change. Now, on this, does he hate humanity part? Yeah, I agree. These people do hate humanity. They are anti-human. They want humanity to become something and be something that is not human. Human nature, we are part of nature, okay? And I know people don't like this and people can get butthurt, whatever else, but nature is kind of fucking hardcore sometimes. And there's things about nature that are deeply disturbing, right? There's things about nature that happen in nature that are disturbing. But I want to live in a world where I face the facts and reality and not in a world where I deny what nature is or I try to make it elsewise. Citizen of the Republic said, Soy Boy Cenk, we're going to get to Cenk in just 1 second. Don't you worry. Cenk is next up. Just wanted to say, Elon's definitely right on here. Look, I don't agree with everything Elon does. I don't agree with all of his business moves, but he's absolutely spotted the right thing here, right? I don't agree with him simping for Amber Heard, right? But I do agree with him here. I think he's spot on. I think he sees it. And look, I don't think most people that are out there want to live in a world that is Soros' world. I don't think they want to live in that world. Booch, why isn't your name green? You got to accept those gift memberships, homeboy. I don't know what's going on. But most people don't want to live in Soros' world. They do not want to live in Soros' world. They want to live in a real world where we have laws, we have culture. And the reason why, and the thing is, culture's been there for a while. There's a purpose to it, right? Removing those laws. Yeah, there's a reason why those laws are there. There's a reason why we say, yeah, theft is wrong. Because if you don't ban theft, then people will just steal. And if there's no remedy to stop them from stealing, well, you can't have commerce because people are just going to openly loot. It's going to be the purge. This isn't Kumbaya where everyone's sitting around in a drum circle and just sharing their, celery sticks. Tankrad says it's easier to take freedom away when everyone is fighting each other and no laws are enforced. And that's what they want. They want us all fighting each other. They want us all disagreeing. And they want a chaos world where none of these laws are enforced, where there's zero enforcement of laws. So that's the world they're trying to generate. They're trying to go for. I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in that reality. And I hope you guys don't either. I sincerely hope you don't either. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, I think we're caught up here on the chats. Okay, yeah, we're good there. So let's go over here to my boy Cenk, or not my boy, the big boy Cenk. This is some complete misrepresentation. Now, I watched all of this interview. I watched it for you guys, so you guys don't have to suffer through it. I did watch all of this interview, but the part that I really wanted to focus on was the part dealing with the law, right? So I'm probably going to pause this and rewind it a couple times because Cenk makes such bad statements on the law, but I'll play it through once before I go back and kind of get to the points I want to get to. Because what this clip shows, and this is Tim Pool and Cenk was on Tim Pool, it shows that even years later, after these court cases, when we know what the facts are, people are willing to misrepresent the facts. Okay? So just let's be very clear. Like, even the left is still committed, and Cenk is the left. He's a typical Democrat, right? I think Cenk is very, very, very representative of a typical Democrat, or at least within the band of Democrats. And it shows how wrong his beliefs are. So let's play this little clip about Cenk. And this is specifically talking about the kind of legal cases involving race over the last couple of years.
We heard that in 8th grade he was smoking marijuana. He was evil and had it coming. Did you
But I'm
know
not doing
George
that.
Floyd might have stolen $20 whole? Oh my God, these black people, they're so evil. Did you know that Trayvon Martin it was
But
caught
I'm
in
not doing
school maybe smoking pot, and that's why Zimmerman had to murder him in cold blood. He had it coming. He had it coming.
So I
rebut
can
this.
understand if conservatives and right wingers have done that, and so you're just frustrated and don't want to hear it. But
I'll
I'm
let
not
it go.
doing that.
It's in the Ahmaud Arbery case and the George Floyd case, you're taking the most extreme cases with the most clear racism, with the most clear murders, and you're trying to nuance it. And what I'm telling you, Tim, and what has made me uncomfortable in the past about you, which is what I was trying to get past, is that attracts a huge right-wing audience because they want somebody to excuse the death of Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd. And when you seem to excuse it with your nuance, then they go, yes,
I don't care what.
Finally, somebody's sticking up for white people killing black people. Come on, don't tell me there aren't people in your audience that think that. There's tons of people who think.
Okay, so that's the initial take. Now I want to go through that because there's so much there. There's so much there on the line that needs to be broken down. This is full by the way, yes, somebody said it in the chat. I'll say it. This is full retard, right? This is full retard. There's so much about this that is bad. Natasha says, in California, Frisco is a good example of no law enforcement and theft. Well, the whole of this state is really, but definitely Frisco. Frisco is definitely a highlight. Now, look, it's funny. I'm over here in Asia, so I have a lot of folks that, they go over there. A lot of people from Korea, Japan, China, they go over there and they visit California because it's closest. They probably have family there, go to school there. Now, most of them have bad experiences, but every once in a while I'll run into a person that says, oh, well, I was fine. But I'll ask them where they were, and they'll be like, I was in San Diego, right? I was in like Whitey McWhitersonsville in California, or I was in a super rich area of California. I'm like, well, okay, maybe, right? Maybe you managed to get in and out without being pissed on by a homeless person or yelled at or screamed at or threatened or, I've had friends that I know there that have been just there for, females that have been there for work, and they've had people spit on them and threaten to rape them. This is really disgusting, vile behavior that is absolutely 100% happened. But is it possible a random person can go there and have a decent time? I guess it's possible, but it's not likely. It's not likely. Every time I go there and I pop through for a flight, right? So flights to Asia often will go through LAX. There's some crazy shit. There's some crazy shit that happens every single time. Every single time. Leprechaun Gold, $10 super sticker. Thank you so much for let me check which one it is here. For the Shiba that is laughing super sticker. Appreciate you very, very much. Chink Yogurt the Hun. I love it. I love it. That's a good one over there on Locals. Appreciate all you guys over there on Locals. Patrick, C3 Metal, Danielle, Joe Schmo. Appreciate y'all. You make me laugh. All right, so, and Deha says, met Chink on several occasions. One note joke and delusional, full-on Trump derangement syndrome, like most people, which is why I say he is a pretty standard Democrat. So let me go back to the beginning because I really want to break this down in terms of the lies here, because I think from a legal standpoint, it's important to be very, very specific about where the lies are and the lies that need to be called out. So let's start here, and we'll take it slowly, right? So hold on. Here's the beginning.
We heard that in 8th grade he was smoking marijuana. He was evil and had it coming. Did you know George Floyd might have stolen $20 whole?
Well, so let's start with that. So with George Floyd, we now know that he was very, 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 very likely died of fentanyl overdose. We're seeing that all the evidence is pointing to that, in addition to the video we saw with the fentanyl in his mouth, what likely was fentanyl in his mouth, right? So we were seeing now the facts of the Chauvin case that are coming out, and it's becoming more and more clear that Derek Chauvin was not the cause of George Floyd's death, but in fact, the cause of the death was the fentanyl and natural causes, i.e., dying from as the natural result of repeated and extended fentanyl use. So fentanyl use over time is the most likely cause of George Floyd's death. So we're seeing that as a fact. It's not about the $20. It's about the fact that it wasn't the chokehold or the asphyxiation or whatever else they claimed it was that killed him. It was in fact the fentanyl. It was in fact the fentanyl. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that more clearly every single day. So let's continue here.
Oh my God, these black people, they're so evil. Did you?
So let's be clear. Let's go on there. Oh my God, these black people, they're so evil. Nobody is saying that. See, the biggest racists, and I'll say this time and time again, the biggest racists are always the Democrats and especially the progressives. People like Cenk are far more racist in their hearts. In their heart of hearts, they are far more racist than anybody on the right. Okay? People on the right are willing to accept people of different cultures, religions, backgrounds. They acknowledge and appreciate that because they actually appreciate culture. They don't view it as all morally relative or all rather subjective or, this sort of multicultural ambiguousness. They actually have culture, right? And therefore they appreciate other people's culture and can understand other people's culture. I find that to be much more true. The conservative folks, and it's not just in the United States, people who are socially conservative around the world tend to understand that a little better than others, right? So that statement in and of itself, it says not so much more about the right. It actually is a projection from his own beliefs that I believe are deeply held, and I believe they're racist. Let's continue here.
Did you know that Trayvon Martin, it was caught in school, maybe smoking pot? And
so it isn't the fact that Trayvon was smoking pot. It was the fact that Trayvon was in a position of putting George Zimmerman in fear of death. It's also bigger than George Zimmerman, by the way. And therefore, it was a good shoot. It was a viable exercise of self-defense. Okay? So that's what's relevant here. This isn't a racial analysis, but he's making it racial, right? He's taking situations that are not necessarily racial and making them racial. Right? He was, and just because, and once again, the shooting, right? The analysis doesn't care about your morals. Let's be clear. The law does not care about your morality. So whether or not somebody is a good person is completely irrelevant to whether or not they are justified in self-defense. If they have a reasonable fear for their life, it doesn't matter if they're Adolf Hitler or if they're Mother Teresa. Cenk is reading that in, and this is what a lot of leftists do. Those with Trump derangement syndrome, those that are adamant about this culture war, they read into it these evil, nasty things. Does that say something about you or about them? I think it says something about them, that they read those deep dirt, these disgusting things into it. Let's continue here.
And that's why Zimmerman had to murder him in cold blood.
So that right there, murder him in cold blood, that's defamation. So Cenk just committed defamation. Cenk just used a term that is a actual crime, murder, right? And that's not what happened there. It's objectively false. So, George, if you want to go after Cenk, I'm sure he's got some money right now for you to go after him. There's defamation right there. Right there. Objectively, that is not true. You made an objective misstatement. You accuse somebody of a crime. That is not true. So hit him. Hit him. And look, I know you guys can't stand him, and I know a lot of you guys hate him, but what I'm saying is this is endemic of a lot of Democrats, because understand why. And this is why I think this is important, because Cenk is running for president. So he's trying to say what he believes the majority of leftist Americans want, right? Now, by the way, Cenk is not qualified for president because he's not an American. This fat fuck is not even an American, okay? He was not born in America. So he is not qualified to be president despite the fact he's running in the Democratic primary. But what this does mean is he's trying to parrot the leftist talking points, right? What he thinks is popular. And that's what I'm reading through this. It's not about the individual. It's that there are others that believe his deranged bullshit. That's what's important here. That's what's key. And that's why it needs to be corrected.
He had it coming. He had it coming.
So I can understand if
It's not about having it coming. It's about it being lawful self-defense, which it was.
conservatives and right wingers have done that. And so you're just frustrated and don't want to hear it, but I'm not doing that.
It's in the Ahmaud Arbery case and the George Floyd case, you're taking the most extreme cases with the most clear racism.
Let's stop there. Okay, so he just mentioned George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. Okay, now I want to separate out those two cases. Okay, because to say that George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery involved the most clear racism, are you kidding me? I mean, now Arbery, I'm willing to take Arbery and put it to the side, because with Arbery, you actually have a conviction of a hate crime. With Chauvin, there's zero racial animus. So I'm willing to say, which by the way, we could debate Arbery, right? I covered the Arbery case. You guys that were here in the chat, M's in the chat for Mindset. Let me see some M's in the chat. If you guys were here and were watching my channel around the time of the Ahmaud Arbery case, I watched that with Nick. I remember watching that with Nate. I think a lot of you guys probably watched that too. M's in the chat if you saw me or were around at the time watching that case. I know, Danielle, I know you were. You're the mod, right? So Riven, Cap, Steve C, Blue Fire, William over here. Yeah, M's Torgo on Rumble, Torgo, P-Dub. I see you guys. Yeah. Take Rat said, historically and currently, Democrats are racist. The world blames the right, but forgets it was the Democratic South that fought to keep slavery. People forget that. But the Democrats have always had that in them. And their policies in and of themselves are racist in that they ruin outcomes for the people of color they attempt to or posit to protect. The people that they say are their base, they treat like shit. They've abused them. They've used them. They've manipulated them for decades, given them nothing and fixed nothing. The Nazi Party is not right-wing, but left-wing party group. The key is socialist and National Socialist German Workers' Party. Yes, no, the Nazis were socialists. Yes, this is very true. Very true. It's national socialism, not national monarchy or whatever else, right? Is this live? Says Cenk uses so many logical fallacies, it's hard to list them all off. False dilemma, slippery slope, red herring, argument from ignorance, appeal to emotion. It's all of them. And more than that, the thing that's crazy is Cenk's famous keyword was Google it, right? Back in the day, he used to just say, Google it, Google it, Google it, right? As if Google was the end all be all, as if, you know, there's any barrier to entry with what is at the top of the Google rankings. It doesn't have to be true. It just has to be the most sensational, trigger the algorithm, or be benefited by Alphabet and put at the top of the list, or sponsored, or whatever else, paid, right? So he used the guy who said Google it, but it appears he hasn't Googled any of these cases. He hasn't actually looked up any facts on these cases, because if he did, he would know that racial animus was not an element in the George Floyd case. There's zero evidence of racial animus, okay? It was not a hate crime at all whatsoever. There's no hate crime there. Now with Ahmaud Arbery, they were convicted of obstructing someone's access to a road based on race. And there was apparently some evidence of some of those folks having racial beliefs, whatever, right? But that being said, there was also counter evidence that could have at trial led to them being innocent. They were convicted, right? So it's not as clean of a case, and they did have that hate crime against them. But that being said, was it the most racist thing? Do I think that even in the Arbery case, they chased down the guy solely because he was black? No, I don't think so. Maybe because, as Tim does say, maybe because there was a robbery suspect. The robbery suspect matched the video of the robbery suspect matched Ahmaud Arbery. So, yeah. There's that. What's up, Valiant Renegade? Good to see you in the chat. My homie, good to see you. All right, we're going to talk about the Disney case a little bit later, though, Valiant, so stick around for that. But what I wanted to show here, and before I go on, I need to get this super chat over here on Rumble from Torgo the White, who says, I'm surprised Chunk could tear himself away from his favorite horse, Vagine, to grace Tim with his presence. Yes, it is so hard. It is so hard for him to tear himself away. Oh God, you guys are great with unlocals with your memes. They're good. They're good. Okay. So let's continue here with Chunk and me kind of debunking Chunk here.
Most clear murders, and you're trying to
not all of them were necessarily murders, and especially getting intent, right? So just throwing that out there, the different levels in these cases, and there's various cases, but not clear.
Nuance it, and what I'm telling you, Tim, and what has made me uncomfortable.
I mean, the law is nuance, right? So understanding the law and understanding the facts is important. If this was a case about a person of color or about cultural assimilation or about any of that, he would say, oh, well, you have to understand the nuance of the issue, right? So I love how strategically, especially for the left, nuance is something they apply when it suits them, right? Oh, well, you need to understand the nuanced history of, if we're talking about Palestine, right? They'll say, oh, well, you have to understand the nuanced history of the Middle East or of Palestine or whatever else, or the nuanced history if they're talking about Native Americans. Oh, the nuanced history of the Native Americans, or the nuanced history of whatever their pet cause is at the time. There needs to be always nuance there. But anytime it comes with facts or justice, oh, well, let's ignore the details when it comes to due process. That is disgusting. It's un-American, and it's certainly unconstitutional. That's why people like Cenk are vile, disgusting human beings, because they are going against our very notion of due process. It matters. It 100% matters.
Comfortable in the past about you, which is what I was trying to get past, is that attracts a huge right-wing audience because they want somebody to excuse the death of Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd. And when you...
That's not at all what anybody who followed those cases wanted. In fact, people just want to know the truth. They want justice. And look, what I've found doing these cases, what I have found covering these cases is that you guys, when we are watching these cases, you guys want the truth. When we watched Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, you guys wanted to know the truth. Who's really at fault here? What's actually going on? People want the truth. And this is what Cenk misses, is that people just want to know the facts. They want to get the information. They want to be able to process it and do it on their own, right? It's why my channel is Be Your Own Judge. Sometimes you're going to judge guilty. Sometimes it's going to be innocent. But either way, you're striving for the truth, not for we want black people to be killed or white people to be killed or whatever else, right? Purple people to be killed, whatever. That I've not found that at all to be true with anybody who's out there. It's complete bullshit. But of course, truth seems to be a foreign concept for Chunk over here. Let's continue.
Seem to excuse it with your nuance, then they go, yes,
I don't care what.
finally somebody's sticking up for white people killing black people. Come on, don't tell me there aren't.
Okay, so that is absolute bullshit, right? That is absolute bullshit. There are not people out there that are rooting for white people to kill black people. That's not a thing, right? And him trying to say, whoa, come on, tell me there aren't people out there. Okay, okay, Chunk, you think of your viewers, there aren't people who are like, yes, let's have some black people killing white people. Let's have some POCs go in there and killing whitey. You think there's not people that want that? Of course, there's a couple deranged individuals out there. There's a few, right? In the world, there are disgusting, vile human beings that want death, that celebrate death. They're in the very slim minority. Very, very, very slim minority. And that is certainly not the core facts. And to come on and represent that is disgusting and vile. So yes, that's the take. That's Chunk Yogurt. Had to definitely play that back because once again, it's vile. It's vile. I will show this one. This is a good meme from Locals. Appreciate you guys over there on Locals. I notice you. Senpai notices you. Everyone I don't like is Hitler. A child's guide. Here, I'll up this up. A child guide to online political discussion. I will say real quick that one thing that I won't really tolerate anymore is particularly leftists calling people Nazis, because they are literally the most anti-Semitic people out there, especially recently. You've seen some stuff that's like wild anti-Semitism. Look, I don't care if you have to go. I don't care where you have to what side you're on of the conflict, or whether you're one, other, or you're like don't get involved, which is more where I fall. The clear hatred and vitriol for people based on whatever status they are, it's disgusting. It's vile, and it's been on the left primarily. Frankly, on the left have been the folks that have been dropping it during all this. So I don't want to hear anything about the Nazi stuff. Don't want to hear a damn thing. Flat out calling for genocide, not cool. Upon the Horizon says they lift up George Floyd on Rumble. Says they lift up George Floyd because that's the way they see black people. Well, it's sad, right? It's sad. Like the way you see black people is someone who is addicted to fentanyl, right? Oh, yes. Someone just brought that up, and I want to see if I can find it. The Kamala Harris statement. I think she made a statement. So let me see if I can find it. So Kamala Harris made a statement on like Islamophobia, right? And saying that we need to commit. Here we go. Yeah, let me show you this one. Okay, guys. So I got another one here for you. Let's do this one before we go. Real quick. I wanna show this, guys, before we move over to doing Disney. This right here is great. Let me play this for you.
Our nation was founded on the fundamental principle that all people should have the freedom to live, to worship, and to be.
And
without
you are
fear of violence or persecution.
By the way, who took that away? Who tried to take that away? This bitch and Joe Biden, right? During the pandemic, these motherfuckers were trying to close down churches and synagogues and mosques. These people were the ones that do not care about religion. Don't think we forgot about that. Also, do you think that transing children is not haram? Because that's haram as fuck. I hate to break it to you, but the transing of children is haram AF. Okay, so if we talk about who's pro-Islam here, the Democratic Party is clearly very anti-Islam as well, right? Very anti-religion in general. Leprechaun go for $5. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate the hype. Super sticker. All right, let's continue to play this out.
Every person has the right to live safe from violence, hate, and bigotry. And for those reasons and so many more,
Everyone.
President Joe Biden and I have a duty not only to keep the people of our nation safe, but to condemn unequivocally and forcefully all forms of hate.
Forcefully.
Since
So they're
we took
gonna
office,
jackboot
President
you.
Biden and I have fought to uphold that duty. Over the past decade, America has seen a rise in attacks on houses of worship. So in response, we expanded funding.
Bullshit,
to
by the
protect
way.
houses of
Complete
worship from
bullshit.
violence. After a surge in hate during the pandemic, in particular anti-Asian hate,
Which was by who? Say it, Kamala. Who started that? Who started the Asian hate? If you guys haven't seen, there's a good Twitter account, Asian Dawn. You guys should follow that account if you want to see that. Follow Asian Dawn. This anti-Asian hate, and look, listen, guys, I'm in Asia, right? I'm in Japan. I was in Korea. I'm going down to Thailand. These motherfuckers know who it is, okay? Like in China, they know who it is. They know exactly who is committing these crimes, okay? So let's not pretend. Should we all say it? Should we all say it together? These crimes aren't happening in these lily white suburbs, right? They're happening in the inner city. They're happening in the downtowns. They're happening in New York. They're happening in San Francisco and LA. Disproportionately, these are coming from liberal states and liberal cities by the demographic that is voting the most blue. Democrats are the ones committing these crimes. Card-carrying registered Democrats are the ones that are carrying out Asian hate crimes. Why are they not prosecuted? They're not prosecuted because you treat Asians as white in that case. And you say it's okay if somebody of color beats up on a white person, because in this case, you're treating them as white. The reason this would be stamped out in 2 seconds if it was any other group. Okay. But no, we got to treat them differently. Valiant 499 said, Kamala will take your free speech, your guns, your kids, and all 6 inches of Willie Brown. Oh, I'm sorry, 8 inches. Oh, no. Valiant. Bad Valiant. Bad Valiant. Behave, okay? Behave, Valiant. I'll send you the link in like 30 minutes when I do the segment on Disney in Florida. I'll get you that link. I love you, baby. Is it live? Says, don't forget the little ministry of truth they tried to establish. Yes, exactly. They tried to give everybody the jab too as well. Don't forget that. Don't forget these people were coming for your liberties. Kamala was coming for you. Hunch says, so the guy who has his network named after a movement that led a genocide on part of the Holocaust is trying to talk about dog whistles. The narcissism of that farm animal loving fool. Yeah, Cenk, who literally has his network is named The Young Turks, right? So a little, Armenian genocide over here, just a little sprinkling of that, right? Of course, that's something that was only acknowledged recently, and huge fighting over that. But that being said, yeah, definitely some problematic thoughts in Cenk's head, I guarantee you. Grifter wannabe, member for 2 months, says, are you testing out all the bathrooms in Asia? Yes, this bathroom is actually really good. I give this bathroom a 10 out of 10 review. Okay, a 10 out of 10 review. Icon of Sin says, I try to live vicariously through you, going between Japan, ROK, and Thailand, and living life through Andrew Sama. Love you. Tell me it gets better. Dude, it does get better. Life gets better. Life is wonderful. There's so many white pills out there. You just need to live your life in a way that maximizes your personal freedom and happiness. And I guarantee you, you will have an amazing life. Live life the way that you want to, not the way you're told to. Okay. And things are great. There's so many good things in the world. I'm going to go see the Gundam factory today. Actually, it's my goal after this stream. So shout out to all you guys. I'm going to go head over to Yokohama and check that out. So I'm excited for that. Some guy with answer says, I forgot about Willie Brown. Now I understand why her voice sounds like it does. Yes, exactly. Exactly. The throat goat. Kamala Harris. Let's finish this. This BS.
President Biden signed the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act to improve the reporting of hate crimes and to ensure hate crimes are investigated quickly and thoroughly. Earlier this year, in response to an historic rise in anti-Semitic attacks, we also released the first national strategy to counter anti-Semitism. And to make clear, taking on hate is a national priority. President Biden and I held the first White House summit to address hate-fueled violence, and we brought together religious leaders, community leaders, and survivors to continue our work to keep all Americans safe. And today, we take another important step forward in our fight against hate.
Okay.
For years, Muslims in America and
it's
those
Muslims now.
perceived to be Muslim have endured
Perceived to be
disproportionate
Muslim.
number
Perceived
of
to be
hate-fueled
Muslim.
attacks. As a result of the Hamas
BS.
terrorist attack in Israel and the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
So you're acknowledging, so she's taking the position that it was a terrorist attack. Okay. All right. So that's a position.
We have seen an uptick in anti-Palestinian, anti-Arab, anti-Semitic, and Islamophobic incidents.
Well, hold on. Aren't those all? Okay, let me go back here. Okay, so you have right here a statement about anti-Arab, anti-Semitic, right? So anti-Jew and anti-Arab. Okay, so people are making a lot of negative comments based on this particular extraordinarily sensitive event. Not surprised, but you're throwing that in there. You're like, we're doing the war on Islamophobia, but we're throwing anti-Semitic in there with Islam, right? Shouldn't you say both, right? Shouldn't you say both? Shouldn't you be equal? But no, you're saying it because of people in your party that are rabidly pro-Palestine, right? So you're saying because your party is rabidly pro-Palestine, you're saying, okay, because of AOC, Ilhan Omar, all these folks are rabidly pro-Palestine, you have to make it as Islamophobia, right? Not anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, right? At least you try to say you could tackle both sides there. But you're trying to you're literally subjugating Judaism to Islam there. Very interesting twist. Very, very interesting twist there.
And Islamophobic incidents across America, including the brutal attack of a Palestinian American woman who was Muslim and the killing of her 6-year-old son.
I don't know any facts about that or whether that's real or racially motivated.
Justice is investigating as a hate crime.
Okay, they're investigating it.
In our nation.
Hold on. Once again, I love how they say they're investigating it. Hasn't been proven, charged, whatever. We don't know, but we're just investigating it. Well, you can investigate anything. You investigate a lot of bullshit. It doesn't mean that there's, oh my God, there's rampant Islamophobia because the FBI is investigating something. Fuck you. Stop. I hate that they are making these things into, oh, it's everywhere. You named one instance, which may or may not even be what you're saying it is. Right? I'll have to actually look into that case. And I will now look into that case. Because I guarantee you, it probably isn't what they're saying it is. Not case says IMOs to crack down to go after people who are plastering everywhere. The anti-Semitics who are ripping down the children were kidnapped by Hamas posters and calling that Islamophobic. Well, the people ripping down those posters, right? Those are mostly card-carrying Democrats. Most of those folks that are ripping down those posters of kidnapped children, of kidnapped people, those are mostly card-carrying Democrats. Yeah, Valiant's. I like Valiant's comment here, so I'll put it up because he's my boy. It says, fuck these loons and their absurd moral equivalency arguments. It's bullshit. It's disgusting and it's demeaning. It's demeaning to us.
The last few days and weeks have brought about all too familiar fears. Fears that they will be targeted, profiled, or attacked simply because of who they are.
I think you're causing fear. You are causing it.
And so today, I am proud to announce the Biden-Harris administration will develop our nation's first national strategy to counter Islamophobia.
Oh, that's a national
This strategy will be a comprehensive and detailed plan to protect Muslims and those perceived to be Muslim from hate, bigotry, and violence, and to address the concern that some
there's
government
gonna be a
policies may
plan.
discriminate against Muslims. For example, the so-called Muslim ban, which President Biden revoked on our first day in office.
Well, that wasn't actually the truth of the matter is it wasn't actually a Muslim ban, right? And I like it's just a so-called because it wasn't that. It banned other countries as well. It banned a lot of countries, and it also banned countries that had direct negative impacts on the US. So yeah, that wasn't what it was. It's just what you called it. It's like the parental rights and education bill. No matter how many times you call it the thing, it doesn't make it true, right? You said so-called because it literally wasn't. Because it actually wasn't. Once again, and if you repealed it, why is there any issue? Okay? If you repealed it, it's a non-issue. So even there, got a question. And is it not more Islamophobic? Your boy Obama, who was drone striking folks in the Middle East left and right? Wasn't that more Islamophobic? Just saying. Let's continue.
So here's the bottom line. In America, no one should be made to fight hate alone. And in this moment, then, let us all clearly say, a harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us.
Okay, well, all right. So that's Kamala. That's the White House statement on Islamophobia. Yeah, complete bullshit. Castle Moy Book says, I like seeing both you and Valiant mentioned at the Ace of Spades website regarding Disney. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I like that the word is getting out there, that people are knowing, that people are learning. It's really awesome. And that the word is like getting out here about Disney and about the bullshit that they've been going through. And also their bullshit lawsuit, their bullshit finances. My boy Valiant and I, we've been out here covering this for forever, really, honestly. We've been like in the trenches on these topics, doing it all the way through. Like if there's one issue out there that I can say is like my pet issue, like the thing I've been covering, it's Disney. And I don't care what people say. I don't care if people are like, I'm tired of it. I don't care. That's the thing I know a lot about. So I'm going to be covering it. I'm going to be covering it all the way through. So the Disney cases, those legal cases, they're going all the way through. Valiant, you have an invite now. So we're going to cover, I'm going to cover over here the new filing. Okay, so we've got a couple filings. Now we have a declaration of Stephen Brody, which is a super long document. I haven't gone through the whole thing. Actually, let me share with you the new documents here. Let me share this with you guys so you see it. Okay, so here's the clerk of court site. But before I get into this, I see a couple comments here. So Tankrat says, excuse me, most of the shit talking and protesting and threatening of another group were the work of pro-Palestinians. There should be a committee on anti-Semitism from what I've seen. Yeah, I've seen far more anti-Semitism from the pro-Palestine side than I have seen Islamophobia from the other side. So if we're talking about balance here, yeah, anti-Semitism wins, okay? Anti-Semitism by far has gone up. Calling for jihad, calling for purging of all the Jews, that's totally okay, right? That's been what you guys are doing. You're 100% true, Tank Rat. 100% true. Also, actually, let me stop this share and actually let me get over here on Rumble because I want to make sure I show this one, which is from Rakahora. On Rumble, Cenk makes his decision judgment and then looks for any facts that can support it and ignores anything that disputes it. He is a prime candidate for motivated reasoning. Yes, Cenk absolutely is trying to back into a justification. And thank you for that Rumble rant. Cenk is trying to back into a reasoning and justification for his own decision. So he makes a decision and judgment, and then he backs into it, which is lazy as hell. And he won't admit, oh, you know, I was wrong. The only thing that I saw him admit to in the whole interview with Tim Pool was he admitted that he was a bit too harsh on Joe Rogan and Tim. Well, he's on Tim's podcast, so obviously he has to back down on that a little bit. But essentially, Cenk has attacked Tim Pool. Cenk has made his money just attacking Tim Pool for the last couple years and just using Tim Pool as a straw man. And Tim Pool is certainly a straw man because he doesn't represent the views of everybody on the right. He doesn't I wouldn't even call Tim necessarily right. You know, milk toast at best, Fence-sitter Tim. But he was rude to Tim. Beyond that, he was really freaking rude. Face to face, was rude to Tim, treated him like shit, disrespected him. He was a bad faith actor. So let's continue here with this Disney bit. So what we've got is we've got this case. This is the state case, the state filing, Central Florida Tourism Oversight District versus Walt Disney World. And we have got now a motion to dismiss. That was on the 18th. We covered that on this channel, right? So I've already covered that. But we had this new filing, this motion for continuance. We also have an affidavit of Stephen Brody that was filed. It's 89 pages. I haven't gone through that. I will go through that in my free time, see if there's anything relevant. But what I wanted to go through quickly with you guys is this continuance. So there's a, look at this, motion to continue summary judgment hearing for 75 days. Let me present this here. Make sure you guys see this. This is the motion right here. See, filed 10/26. Boom. And who filed this? Let's be very clear about who filed this. Let's go down here so you guys see. It is filed. Get out of here. It's filed by Disney's counsel. It's filed by Disney's counsel. That those New Yorkers, the Californian, the DC dude, and their Florida hoe who got them into Florida, it is filed by Disney. Disney is attempting to delay this case. And I told you guys, I mean, I hate to say it, but I told you so. I told you guys that they want to delay. They are doing nothing but trying to delay this case, and Disney will do nothing to stop at trying to delay this and run the clock. They are masters at doing this. They are masters at pulling shit like this. Because of this, this case is dragged out because of Disney's strategy of delay. It's dragged out much longer than it really had to. This case could have resolved itself. Now, I do genuinely hope there'll be a response from the district. I do genuinely hope this is denied, okay? But what Disney is saying here is, oh, we want to delay it because we haven't gotten proper discovery, because we haven't gotten discovery from the state. This is complete bullshit. Okay? This is a complete lie. Disney literally has all of the documents. They ran Reedy Creek. Disney has all of the discovery they need. They were Reedy Creek. What Disney went and asked for from the state was every single email and document involving any agreement ever between a special district and a private entity. They went out there and said, for all 2,000 districts in all of the state of Florida, which are not under the control of the state, that's like saying for every single fast food restaurant, I want you to get every single sale record they have for the past 10 years. Go get that. That's the same thing as what they required. They literally required the state to turn over, they're trying to get the state to turn over every single email record, whatever, of any private agreement between a government and a special district. So, sorry, a private industry and a special district, of which there's 2,000. It's ridiculous. Disney is asking for all of this discovery because they're trying to delay, and that's why they're trying to delay summary judgment motion here. You do not need this discovery to rule on summary judgment. It's unnecessary. Is This Live says, is it possible Disney's entire strategy is to try and delay on the chance that DeSantis isn't governor by the time everything is done? Yes, I think that is a damn big factor. They're trying to pin this on DeSantis. They're trying to make this political, okay? They are trying to make this a political thing any way they can. That's Disney. Disney is trying to make this something non-legal. The only way they do that is by delaying the actual factual objective rulings and by allowing their media narrative to take hold. The only way they can do that is by delay. So that's what they're going to continue to do. Their entire strategy has been delay. They're going to continue to try to delay, move things around. They move things from federal court to state court, and they will continue to do that. They plan on continuing to do that, at least. I don't think they plan on stopping anytime soon. And this declaration of Stephen Brody that they rely on allegedly talks about the need for all this discovery, right? They're complaining about not having enough time to read a draft of the motion for summary judgment that was sent over to them. Disney sends last-minute filings all the time. I've been literally, guys, I have worked with Disney. Disney is bitching about getting a last-minute email in this. Disney has sent me, and I can say this as a lawyer, right? In my legal practice, Disney has sent me documents the day of a meeting, okay? We had a literal meeting at 2 p.m. They sent me documents at 9 a.m. knowing that my drive to get there was an hour. Therefore, I really didn't have that much time to read, edit, and get back to them. Right? They've done stuff like that, where they're like, well, we'll sign this later today, but here's the edits. It's 1 p.m., it's 2 p.m. We're going to sign this at 4 or 5 p.m. That's Disney. Disney's done that shit all the time. So the fact that they talk about this, the fact that they mention this is hypocritical. It's complete bullshit. So that's their general strategy with this case. And look at this bullshit they say. Disney shares the district's interest in resolving this case expeditiously. Bullshit. Bullshit. You're doing everything to delay. You're doing everything to delay. You're asking for 75 days, okay? When you've already received a lot of discovery, you've already received a good amount of discovery. So I think, to me, the court should not grant this motion for a continuance, for a 75-day continuance. I think the court should turn this down. But who knows? They might buy it. And I will say one thing, and this is one thing I will put out there. it is very effective to play on the laziness of judges. Okay. I'm just going to say it. Judges are like you and me and everybody else. They are lazy. So if you say we need to delay something, they're like, oh God, great. Because they've got other cases on their docket. So they're willing to delay things down the road, to bump things down the road, because they're just lazy, right? They're just lazy. And so I am afraid that they may grant this. I don't see, guys, I call balls and strikes, okay? I think legally they should deny it, but the judge may be like, you know what? They want to delay, whatever, we'll let them delay. We'll give it to them. In Valiant, you want the link? Okay, I'll send it to you again. It definitely shouldn't have disappeared on Twitter unless you're drunk, but I will send it one more time. Here, sending it twice, Valiant. Sending it 3 times. Spamming it in the chat. So you now have it. But I think the judge may grant it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. See, this is the thing on my legal mindset. I don't try to tell you what I want to happen and pray for it. I give you the reality, and the reality is judges are lazy. And for example, if 2 lawyers agree, hey, we want this to take longer, we're okay if you delay it, they'll delay it. Now, I think the district should fight it. I think they should push back for a speedy resolution and ruling. It's possible. Okay, so let me get this one here. Vibe says, hey, bro, saw you live. I got to hit the road. I'll catch the replay. Have fun watching Disney. Grab their ankles. Awesome. Shout out to Vibe AI. Great channel. Lo-Fi Beats. Check out Vibe AI. Good friend of the channel. And Leprechaun Gold for 20. Big 2-0. Thank you so much for the Shiba with the chalice. Appreciate you, Leprechaun Gold. Love you. Love everybody who's out there. All my supporters. You guys are great. Legendary Racing says, any chance the judge splits the baby? We're splitting the baby and does 30. It's possible. It's possible. We could get that. We could get that. We could get 30. We could get 45. It's possible. The judge could do that. Now, that being said, one thing that we want to do is we want to pay attention to people that know what they're talking about. But there are sometimes people that don't know what they're talking about because they don't have a basic grasp of math skills, and those people are Valiant. And one of those people is Valiant Renegade.
Yeah, I get that.
No,
yeah.
Sorry, you missed my stream the other day with Mexican Iron Man with the folks that were calling out the YouTuber analysts who know nothing about the basics of analysis at all. They know nothing.
I saw that. I got tagged in it left and right. This has been a hellaciously busy week.
Yeah.
I actually I have a video response for that. It'll be coming. There's been so much news breaking this week that I kept pushing that off because I'm like, this is so stupid. It's a great teachable moment for me, for the audience, but we'll get there. I promise y'all it's coming. I did see this from this, what does he call himself on Twitter? A lawyer, investor? I'm like,
lawyer, investor, Sean.
Dude, what does that
Nyberg?
mean? Do you invest in law firms? Do you do you invest in lawyers? What does that mean?
He owns a couple ETFs, therefore he's a lawyer investor, right? His
Okay.
his Vanguard fund has Disney in it, so
sure.
He's therefore a lawyer investor, right?
Well, when the video comes out, I'll give you a quick preview. It's going to involve some ratios that will put that. The initial tweet was relatively innocuous. It was just saying Disney had this many movies and made this much per movie versus Warner Brothers and what was it, Universal?
Yes.
But it, of course, it fails to take into account things like, I don't know, production budget based on average movie. So we'll get there.
And I love how he just dropped the tweet with numbers, and it's like, what the fuck is this number? Like, if you were actually paying attention to YouTuber analysts and people, you guys are very specific of, is this gross revenue? Is this less profits? Is this lessing out production budget? Is this lessing out marketing? Is it like what is included in this? What is not included? You guys are like, I mean, if anything, you're for like the people that have like financial autism, right? Are in there and just focused on that. But I love it. I love it. That's the tism I love, right? And I love that you guys get in there and really crunch those numbers. But clearly, these folks don't pay attention to you. The only thing they pay attention to is you are saying mean things about Disney, and that's bad for their, viewing the Little Mermaid event.
And this was
getting this VIP treatment at the Little Mermaid. Wow, no bias there towards Disney at all whatsoever, right?
No,
there's no bias at all.
He got his junk sucked by Ariel, I guess. I have to.
Well, he's not into that. He's not into that. Clearly, he's there with his boyfriend. So I mean, it's probably be Prince.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. The prince that he'd be gunning for there. But that being said, the Little Merman, if you will.
His initial tweet wasn't that bad, but his somebody responds to him, and then he responds to that person that these YouTubers are just dumb. That was the one I was like, look, if he had just posted the initial tweet and wanted to use some, frankly, completely nonsensical, who cares, doesn't matter metric, whatever.
Right.
I don't have time for this.
Yeah, it is what it is.
He turns around and he calls
nobody
me
would have
dumb.
said anything about it. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I know what he's talking about. He talks about YouTuber analysts.
Analysts.
Over the box office. I'm like, well, there's me and me. I mean, Odin, my friend Odin out there from OMB Reviews, I mean, great guy and all this kind of stuff. He talks about this stuff too. But I mean, I tend to break it down from the box office and then return it to Disney's profitability metric overall as a company and the problems they're having. So, I mean, I go a little bit deeper than most folks do. Yeah. So, I mean, it was just silliness, but
hold on. We got a $5 Canadian super chat. Is this live? Says no value. Gross box office means everything. The mainstream media tells me this, and they don't lie.
Yeah. Well, here's a fact for you. Five Nights at Freddy's has made more money in its opening weekend than most Marvel films in the last 3 years.
What? Why do you think that is? Why is that, Valiant? Why is it made so much money? I mean, what's your analysis on that? What's your hot take on that, Mr. Analyst?
It's about profitability. I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's, remember, this was a movie that was produced by Jason Blum and Blumhouse, Scott Cawthon, who was the creator of FNAF. They spent between 20 and 25 million net after their tax credits. They shot the whole movie here in Louisiana, right in my neighborhood, literally almost in my backyard. And before they even sold a single movie ticket, Universal knew what they had on their hands. They were so enamored. I don't like the decision, but they put it day and date with the theatrical release on Peacock. Mm-hmm. But that cost Universal because this was not a Universal-made film. This is a Jason Blum-made film with Blumhouse. Universal had a distribution-only contract. This isn't like Marvel Studios or Lucasfilm or Pixar or Walt Disney Animation. All of those are housed production studios under the Disney banner. In this case, Universal had to cut a check to Jason Blum to put that onto Peacock, and Jason Blum even let it slip out in an interview about a week before the movie came out when they asked him about, how well the movie would do. Jason Blum said, "We've already made a profit because of Universal cut us a check to put this onto Peacock day and date with theaters." So they were already in the black before they sold the first movie ticket. And all the stuff from the theaters in the past 5 days has been gravy on top. And they're going to make a ton of money on this.
Well, and the thing is, it's got so much because it's got the game in the background. You've got merchandise you can sell.
Yep.
It's wildly popular. I mean, it's a wildly popular IP from a game standpoint, right? Mm-hmm. Like it already was well established in that. Somebody mentioned in the chat, in terms of like the Zoomers, they fucking love it. Right. So it's like just like a layup. And they just kept it they just kept the movie consistent with the games, didn't screw with it really.
Renegade Junior's been playing it for years. That's how I knew about it.
And if it wasn't already there, by the way, and I actually am really sad I missed this. This is one thing I really miss about Florida. Did you ever get a chance to get down to Halloween Horror Nights in Universal?
1 year, many years ago, yes, I have been there.
They do a very good job. It is packed and it's crazy, but they do a very good job. And I can imagine if it wasn't there this year, for sure next year there will be a scare zone, which is they take like one of the lands, like let's say Seuss Land or whatever, and they make it all into a zone that's themed out, there will definitely be a Five Nights at Freddy's.
They had it this year.
Oh, did they? Did they?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Somebody, I
sure.
wondered the same thing, and somebody told me no, there were
for sure. That's a
they
layup.
had a Five Nights at Freddy's thing set up ready to go this year for Halloween Horror Nights. I don't know if it was in all the parks, but I think it was at least in the one in California. But I could see this becoming like a permanent installment. Like there will be. I would be more shocked within the next 5 years if there isn't an announced FNAF ride, like permanently installed at Universal.
That would be
Studios.
really cool if they put a ride,
or a ride, or some kind of attraction, because it's too big of an IP. And you saw it this past weekend, $80 million. And as I've told people for the last month, when projections started coming out, I said, I'm going to call it now. Five Nights at Freddy's, even with a day and date release on streaming, is going to beat the opening weekend of the Marvels. And it's looking like that's exactly what's about to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to be absolutely devastating for them if they get blown out by a bunch of bears, right? Like by a bunch of murderous bears. Like Disney's like the Marvels get their cheeks clapped over the bears. But I mean, I think there's a bigger problem here. And there was an article on this, not the cuckolding article. I have to close that one real quick. But an article on the issue with the Marvels, because they've now got this giant Kang-sized hole in the series, right? Yeah. So you've got, I mean, like you're laughing about it, but it's true. Like you don't have, you've spent this time building up this big bad that wasn't even that bad of a big bad.
Sucked.
And where are you going to go now? You've got to throw in who? Dr. Doom, right?
That's what people are clamoring for, right? So.
But you haven't set it up, so like it's just going to be a kind of ham-fisting it in there to make it happen. I don't know, but I'm ready for it to fall flat, and I'm ready for everybody to be big mad about the analysis. Not K says, my opinion was that Harris wants to crack down on people making famous those tearing down those posters, not the people who are tearing them down. Wait, what?
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
So
the video of the people, I think it was in New York.
Posters.
There were some Palestinian supporters, I guess, for lack of better words, that were just, they walked up and a Jewish woman had plastered posters of all the missing children that were kidnapped and likely murdered or beheaded by Islamic terrorists in Palestine, Hamas. And a bunch of folks from the other side came up and just started ripping them down and raised the middle finger to her in the camera and said, F Israel and F the Jews and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, this is just horrible. But yes, you're right. Those are the folks right now that Kamala Harris and the Biden administration are suggesting that we need to defend, because they're the ones that are vulnerable right now to anti something, whatever.
Those are the ones that are vulnerable as they are literally taking down posters for missing people. That's vulnerability, right?
And I mean, of course, violence themselves.
Well, but the funny thing was, in that little statement, she threw in anti-Semitism as a form of Islamophobia, right?
How do you square that? I'm sorry.
I hate to break it to you, Kamala, Miss Respect for religion, but they're different religions that may or may not have some disagreements right now.
She probably should have spent more time reading history books and less time on her knees at Willie Brown's living room.
Oh, dude, you're 8 inches of Willie Brown. I'm sorry. Like, I know you. And by the way, Valiant, I know you asshole. You can only do that on my channel. That's why I like having you on my channel.
Hey.
So here's the article. Here's the Variety article. It was actually sent to me by a fan earlier today. And once again, when I see like a big kind of headline article by Tatiana Siegel, this was posted, I think, a day or two ago.
I'm going to be covering this one tomorrow. This came out today.
So we'll just quickly, I just want to, quickly get your thoughts since I have you here. So I need to tap into your wisdom, right? Jonathan Majors backup plans, the Marvel research and reviving the original Avengers and other issues. So one of the things I wanted to bring up here, is Marvel in trouble. This is the line here. Marvel is truly fucked with the whole angle.
I love that. I love that
like
line.
The fact that if they actually have somebody interior that straight up said Marvel is fucked. I'm like, I mean, coming from me or you, I get it, right? I get it. But this is like inside baseball. They're saying that, right? Like, what?
And they're right, Andrew. Think about this.
Right.
Let me put it this way. When you consider the fact that
this is what
first season of Loki led to this, and then you had Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and now Loki season 2. Let me put a number on this.
Yeah.
Marvel Studios has literally invested somewhere close to, I'd say, around $600 million to $750 million in setting up Kang. Between the production costs of the Disney Plus shows and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and the marketing budgets behind it, we're talking about perhaps as high as $750 million that Disney has sunk so far into setting up this shite.
And they're acknowledging that there's no way to fix it. There's literally no way out of it, right? I'm saying I don't see a path on how they move forward with him. And then beyond that, right, the brain trust at Marvel is also grappling with the November release of the Marvels, a sequel to the 29 blockbuster Captain Marvel, plagued with lengthy reshoots, and now appears likely to underwhelm at the box office. So to me, once again, it's the fact that Variety is calling the shot. And you know, when they're calling the shot, they want the confirmation bias, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like even them, they're already going to just affirm their rightness about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is very prophetic for you know, the Panderverse episode, and you know, these things coming out and just calling Disney's failure, just calling this shot is pretty much setting it up for. It's not about whether this is bad. It's like, tell me, Valiant, how bad this is going to be. Like what we're all going to be paying attention to is the numbers when this comes out and what the fuck they're going to say on that earnings call next week, right? Like what's going to go down on that call. That's going to be great. I am going to try to wake up at some point and get on with that one. I'm super excited about that.
We're going to start the live stream at 3 a.m. your time.
My time,
so you will have the link. It'll be 3 p.m. my time, 4 p.m. Eastern for those of you watching out there. 4 p.m. Eastern, we will start the live show, and the Disney earnings call will begin at 4:30 p.m. And this is all next week, a week from today, Wednesday, November 8th. For that. So we had 8,000 people watching us last time for the last earnings call. So I'm hoping that we hey, if we get half of that again this time, I'll be thrilled. That'd be great.
No, that would be absolutely 100% great. I mean, and I think you guys had a great turnout. It's a great crew. It's great analysts, and it's all sorts of people, right? You have all sorts of people on that. I don't attend a lot of panel shows. I actually am notorious. I think I told you I hate panel shows.
Yeah, no, I understand
that. But that one I will attend because everybody who's been there has been really great. They've added something to the conversation, and they've been constructive. So that's one that I always enjoy joining. Like I said, I make rare exceptions.
Yeah, we try to keep that one structured. So like during the call, I keep the panel on screen very limited. It's usually myself, WDW Pro, Jonas J. Campbell, and the three of us are very interconnected. I mean, Jonas obviously does my second. Yeah, Jonas runs my entire second channel, Valiant Renegade Online. So I have Jonas there because Jonas has a background in finance and accounting. Mexican Iron Man, of course, has his background as a CPA. Pro and I, and then usually we have like Lorena Creole there who covers a lot of the parks and whatnot. After the earnings call is over, we tend to open the panel up. So, like, for example, Gary will be there, Nerdrotic, folks. He was the first person to confirm because he jumped into the last earnings call we did. He had such a good time. And I said, well, Gary, you should have come on while the call was on. And Gary told me straight up, he's like, no. If I had been there while the call was going on, nobody would have heard anything. I'd have been F-bombing and screaming the whole goddamn time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, that's fine. I said, Gary, do you want to come in for the after party as soon as the call's over for the panel? He's like, yes, mark me down. I'll be there November 8th. So Gary's going to come and have some fun. So
it's honestly really, really hard to keep my mouth shut when I hear some of this stuff. I know how Gary feels because sometimes when Bob Iger is just being a lying son of a bitch and he's just absolutely framing things in such a horrible way. By the way, I see you, Jonas. I
see Jonas. Just looked at us.
I see Jonas.
Jonas is out there.
Don't do it. And I say, shut your. I can say this.
It's a trap.
You shut your whore mouth and get on this panel. I sent you an invite.
Oh, there you go. All right.
I love Jonas. But so. No, it's always really crazy the spin they put on it. Like, look, I worked in corporate, and I can appreciate the level of bullshit spin that these corporations can pull out. It is actually impressive. It's actually impressive.
To somebody in the chat, real quick, what time is that in the UK? If it's 3 p.m. Central, that'll be 9 p.m. UK. It should be about 9 p.m. UK is when we'll start the stream. 9:30 p.m.
Not too late.
UK when the actual call starts. Yeah.
Patrick says, shout out to our buddy YouTuber Sleazy Society, short firm rage topics, best promo for the money. Sleazy is too cheap to promote his own channel. The best way to promote is throwing a super chat here on Legal Mindset. So you got to go subscribe to Sleazy Society. He's been a good supporter of my channel over there on Locals. Shout out to my homie. All right. So the one thing I wanted to say, go on here with this article, because this article is kind of it's intense. The other thing I want to talk about is whether or not you think that there was an issue here with the COVID plus superhero fatigue. Okay, so their thought here was the source of Marvel's trouble can be traced back to 2020. That's when the COVID pandemic ushered in a mandate to help boost Disney's stock price with an endless torrent of interconnected Marvel content for the studio's fledgling streaming platform, Disney Plus. According to the plan, there would never be a lapse in the superhero fare with either a film in theaters or a new television series streaming at any given moment. But the ensuing tsunami of spandex proved too much of a good thing, and the demands of churning out so much programming taxed the Marvel apparatus. Moreover, the need to tease out an interwoven storyline over so many disparate shows, movies, and platforms created a muddled narrative that baffled viewers. So I just want to talk about this particular analysis of the failure. I don't know whether I really agree with this or not. I don't.
No,
because they're trying to
don't agree with it because it's bullshit.
Yeah, they're trying to say that exactly. They're trying to say the issue is it was too hard. And they're not at all acknowledging that the writing wasn't good. Nothing in here says it's not about an interconnected story or not. It's about the fact that the writing sucked, that they couldn't do it, that it was, as Jonas J. Campbell would say, everything woke. What's going on, Jonas?
Speaking of,
how's it going?
Good.
Hey
Just talking here about this Variety article. I don't know. Have you seen this? Have you ever read this article?
I haven't had time to read it. It's sitting there.
Okay.
I've got the tab open on my machine, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on, because their thesis here, to summarize it, the TLDR version, is that the reason why Disney Plus and Marvel failed is because it was too complicated to maintain this interwoven web of superheroes.
No, that's patently false. General audiences don't
viewers, care, right?
General audiences don't even know that Batman isn't a Marvel superhero. So
this is true.
They show up expecting Christian Bale to show up in the Avengers.
Well, you know what's even more specific to this article is that if you read through it, and it is a very lengthy article, and I will give Variety. No, I know. I will give Variety credit. I think they did a very good job, and they really fleshed this out as much as possible. And I thought that they were as fair as they could be for being Variety, right? But that being said, at the end of the day, what this article really guides towards is that Disney just overtaxed Kevin Feige. They stretched him too thin. They stretched his studio too thin, and this is and what we see now is the result. So, since you asked me, Andrew, about what I thought of this, let me push back on this hard. Okay.
Okay. Good.
And
good.
I've covered this so many times. So I'm going to spill some of the beans here for tomorrow's video. So
yes.
Audience out here, just to be
you
a
get
favor,
a little bit, you smash the like button. We got 525 of you in here. We're giving you the special sauce.
I'm giving you the special sauce. Go watch the video tomorrow, even though you may have heard some of this here tonight. This will be much more colorful tomorrow, I'm sure, the way I do these videos. But that being said, here's the deal. We have been covering, and I have recently recovered the Ike Perlmutter situation, right? Because what did we find out in the last 24 to 48 hours is that one of the big reasons that Nelson Peltz had increased his voting power against Disney so tremendously is because, as we just learned, thanks to the Wall Street Journal, that Ike Perlmutter, the former owner and former chairman, while at Disney, but the guy who sold Marvel to Disney, is backing Nelson Peltz. He has given him his entire proxy for over $1 billion worth of Disney stock. That's a heavy hand, y'all. Okay? Now, as we've talked about many times, and I talked about in a video that I did a couple of days ago, what happened with Ike Perlmutter? Ike Perlmutter was the guy who was the financial restraint on Kevin Feige for years, even before Disney bought Marvel from Ike, okay? And after Disney bought Marvel, Perlmutter was given a position at Disney to still be the chairman of that Marvel enterprise working for Disney. Well, in 2015, Kevin Feige and Victoria Alonso, who is a name that some people may know, because she was just dismissed summarily from Disney in the last 12 months. But Victoria Alonso and Kevin Feige ran Ike Perlmutter off. Ike Perlmutter was trying to tell Feige, no, you can't do this. You can't do this. We have to rein these budgets in for these films. We don't need to spend this much money. We can do these same movies, make them look the same way, and spend, $50, $75, $100 million less in some cases on these things. That's what Ike was trying to do. Well, long story short is that Bob Iger sided with Kevin Feige and then pushed Ike Perlmutter into a corner, and eventually, earlier this year, terminated him under the guise of, well, we were doing $5.5 billion worth of CapEx cuts, and that department just had to go. And of course, Perlmutter came out a few months later and said, no, I was fired. And here's why.
On that one, he came out a couple of days later and said, I wasn't laid off. I was fired. And
you're right. It was a few days.
He's so private about everything that is a big deal for him to come out and say anything. Because, I mean, he wasn't even photographed for about 10 years.
Yeah.
The only photograph they got of him was of him standing next to Trump while also wearing sunglasses. And you can tell that whoever took it was kind of behind a curtain at the same time. I mean, the guy is intensely private and frankly amazing. Okay, so I just finished.
Which, by the way, I will just say with the Perlmutter thing and Peltz, I am 100% with you guys, and I spoke about this the other day when I talked about it. That this is huge, and we're really seeing a solid chance of not just one seat, but we're talking about multiple.
I think 2 or 3 is definitely in the cards. But
it's in the cards.
With Perlmutter gone, Kevin Feige at that point, and this was in 2015, not this year, but in 2015 when Perlmutter was shoved in the corner at Disney, and they said, oh, well, he'll still be overseeing Marvel Entertainment, which was the comic books division. But of course, there's no handprint of Perlmutter on look at Marvel Comics right now. Perlmutter is not the one driving this make every Marvel character put a chick in it, make her gay, make it gay. It's like that's not Ike Perlmutter at all.
You mean he wasn't behind the High Republic?
No, he was not.
I know that's Lucasfilm, but still,
Well, no, but the point is this. In 2015, I want you to think about that year. Everybody watching, think about 2015. Think about where Marvel was in their cinematic universe. And I also want you to understand that movies of that scale take 3 to 4 years to come to fruition from the time that they are conceptualized. Meaning that when you saw Infinity War in 2018 and then Endgame in 2019, they were being put together and principal photography being planned in 2015. All of this was way in advance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you saw, in other words, through Endgame had the handprint of Ike Perlmutter on it, like keeping the direction, keeping Kevin Feige in check, with a couple of exceptions. Kevin Feige really wanted to do Black Panther, for example. That turned out to be a big win. Kevin Feige really wanted to jam in Captain Marvel. And Kevin Feige was, well, we have to make it work.
Man.
I have to prove that I was right. So what did he do? He stuck the character in 2 months before Endgame came out. You literally could have put anything in that theatrical slot and it would have made $1 billion. If you don't believe me, look at what the Marvel's cinematic projection is in a week from now. It's going to be the worst performing film of all time for Marvel. It might not even beat the Hulk from 15 years ago, unadjusted for inflation. Okay?
My.
So,
that's bad. That's
facts.
so bad.
So what
That's
you
so
guys have
bad.
seen out there, and this is the point, what you guys have seen in Marvel phases 4 and 5, which I said over 2 years ago now on a video that is still on my channel, Marvel is dead and Kevin Feige killed it. Here's why. And now everybody's realizing what I said. They can see now the financial results of what I predicted over 2 years ago was going to happen. We're sitting here now. I told y'all so. Phase 4 began with what? Black Widow and Shang-Chi. Here we are. These phases are entirely Kevin Feige with no handcuffs, with no oversight. This was a Kevin, do whatever you want. What we're seeing now in phases 4 and 5, both on TV, Disney Plus, and the theaters, is entirely Kevin Feige's brand of Marvel now.
Yep.
There's nobody else to blame but him, and he can't fix it.
Dropped a 5 here. Says Kevin Feige taxed himself by not making more product, but by driving anyone with talent away.
Yep. Any opinion, you're out.
Even the director of the Marvels, Nia DaCosta, made it very plain.
That's a good point.
A black woman who was brought in, frankly, as a DEI hire by Disney, right? And nothing against her personally or her talent level. But the fact is, she hadn't done anything more than like a $500,000 independent, small scale film. I mean, she did really small stuff. She had no idea how to run a $300 million production like the Marvels. And she even said in an interview, this is still a Kevin Feige movie. And she left. She left the movie. She went off to work on another independent production just as the Marvels was entering post-production in VFX. That is not normal.
Yeah, that is in that article.
Not normal at all.
And that thing is a goldmine, that article. I just finished that ridiculous fluff piece that was ghostwritten by Feige. They had Joanna Robinson from the Ringer and 2 other bloggers write it up. And it's basically, I want you to write the story about how I am great, how I have never made a mistake, and anything that looks like I've made a mistake is actually someone else's fault. The book is so glowing. Even I'll compare this. I'll compare this to a great biography, Ron Chernow's Washington book. You could not write a more glowing book about a more perfect first president of the United States. And there are still, warts and all, some moments in there that I'm not gonna get your live stream into that place, but he still comes out. Yeah, there's moments in here that make you go, is he really the man? There isn't a single moment like that in this 15-hour just glow fest talking about how great Kevin Feige is. It makes it, I'll be honest, anyone with a critical brain looks at that and says, what in the world are you doing? This makes you look like a child.
Yeah. For those guys in the chat that are interested in, so I saw the super chat here, $2 from Annie. I've used it. Can't wait for the earnings call.
Awesome.
Annie, I just pinned in the chat the link for the earnings call. So if you guys want to go ahead and see that, save that, whatever, and get ready for that, definitely go and pay attention to that. Like I said, I'm going to try to jump on maybe like 5 a.m. my time when I eventually get on, but I will get on. right?
Don't leave Andrew's show.
So
Just go over there, click the notification.
Yeah, you don't have to go
thing.
anywhere.
Yeah, click the notification thing and then come back. So I mean, it's
that's it.
Just so you can set it up so when it goes off, your phone will buzz, your YouTube account will buzz.
Speaking of which, guys, make sure you are subscribed still. You've got notifications on, because I know there's still 25% of you that are not subscribed, and there has been a sloughing off. YouTube sloughed off subscribers lately. So make sure you guys still subscribe, that you resubscribe to the channel, and you've got all those notifications and ding. Florals under a rock for 5 Canadian says, why is Valiant hiding his super juice video? And why haven't you all given us some puppet love by subbing? Jonas is a good snuggler.
No, I said smuggler with an M. I'm a smuggler. Which, by the way, legal, I got to talk to you about that. I need some advice on that later.
Floral, wait, which was the super juice video?
Yeah, did you have a special video for Valiant on your channel? Floral, by the way, a great channel, great puppet content. I've been on there. I've got music videos. I think there's like Pretty Fly for a Lawyer, is on there. I mean, it's great. It's great. Wholesome content. These people are out there creating really good content. They're unique. These guys are really talented puppeteers. So you guys should check out their channel.
Definitely.
Floral. Is It Live says, for 5 Canadian, it surfaced in this article, the Variety article, that they tried to turn the new Blade movie into a power chick movie and only stopped because Ali was going to walk.
Rightly so.
Yep. I mean, like this was just, again, days after the South Park Panderverse thing comes out. And this is why Blade, we knew Blade was in production hell. We weren't entirely sure why. But apparently it's because they had written the script. According to the article, they said Blade was like the 4th lead down the line in reality in the movie, because they had to put a chick in it, make her gay. I mean, that was going to be Blade again.
So here's the thing. As public criticism mounts, Feige is pulling the plug on scripts and projects that aren't working. Case in point, the Blade reboot with Mahershala Ali signed on for the role of a vampire. Things were looking promising for 2023, but the project had gone through at least 5 writers, 2 directors, and 1 shutdown 6 weeks before production. One person familiar with the script permutation say the story at one point morphed into a narrative led by women and filled with life lessons.
Oh my goodness.
Literally, we're going to be talking about synchronizing
Jonas, you hadn't read this yet?
here.
No, I think about this. You think about the original Blade. First of all,
what is a
Wesley Snipes is sitting around going, what
you
the
know
fuck?
What, guys, you misogynists, we need to respect the vampire period, because that is a tragedy of the vampire period. Right,
would
a
vampire
blood.
period be a problem for the other vampires out? I could see that might be.
I did not read that section of Vampire the Masquerade when I used to play back in the day. I don't know, guys. Vampire experts.
Do they have vampire codex?
I mean, how does this work?
If I can deviate a little bit here, you talk about the original Blade, and it is basically, what if Shaft fought vampires and also was a vampire himself?
Yeah.
Where in that is there some story about 3 or 4 women and learning life lessons along the way? No, absolutely not.
Thank you, Danielle. I see out there for clearing that up. No, they don't have periods. Okay, good. Inquiring minds, Danielle.
Yeah, listen, you gotta have fun. You gotta be a bad motherfucker.
If I can also point this out, Blade is one of the few times that they can go ham against white people, and white people won't care because it is a vampire movie.
It's a vampire movie. And the character of Blade, originally black. Nobody's going to be like, you made Blade black. Oh, no. It's a vampire movie. We literally had zero problem with Blade.
I'd be pissed if they made him white.
They're gonna take Chris Christopherson's character. They're gonna take Whistler, and they're gonna make him a black chick.
Well, at this point, though, I feel like that would be like equal. I mean, if we're talking about like cinematic reparations, like we got to get some like we got to go the other way, right? So what do we got to get? Like we got to get Blade, we got to get Tiana. I mean, we've got to really have some redos here. I'm kidding, of course. Not K says, it's supposed to be about wasting vampires. Nothing more. Who doesn't like vampires being wasted? Exactly. It's just literally action yeeting vampires and perhaps avoiding IRS judgments, Wesley Snipes. Just saying. Just
It's
saying.
a very simple concept character. You don't have to overthink this. It's like a lot of action movies.
Yeah.
Just recognize who your audience is, give them what they expect, do it well, and you'll make a ton of money. That's it.
You'll just print money. Natasha says vampires don't use Kotex except for brewing tea. Oh, that's great. But yeah, no, look, and I do look forward to your video on this, Valiant. But I mean, I think in terms of superhero fatigue, I've actually had this debate, and I do want to get your thoughts real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's superhero fatigue. I think it's good movie fatigue.
Yes.
I think it is. We want good movies. We don't even want good movies. We're okay with mediocre movies at this point. We're okay with a completely average movie that's just a movie, right? Because I love movies. I love going to the movies. I was debating going the other day. I was in the area of the big Toho theater where the Godzilla's at during Halloween, right? Cool. And I was like, man, I want to go to a movie, but there's not really anything that too good at except for anime. I might actually go see like an anime movie. Right, of course, it wouldn't be subbed in English, or I'd have to find one that's subbed in English because I'm in Japan, of course, right now. But that's all that's out. You know, that's the only thing that possibly go see, right? Yeah. Because it's the rest is absolute 100% garbage.
Well, you know, it's a simple issue of this, Andrew. You're right. You can do an okay movie, a mediocre movie. Just don't insult your fans.
Yes.
Don't insult your paying audience. Don't insult the people that buy your merch, that pay your bills, that make your profits. Disney has been doing the opposite of that now for what, maybe close to 10 years?
I would say.
And look at where Disney is. This is not, I hate to use the tired old cliche, but yeah, get woke, go broke, shit real. I mean, that's it. I mean, this is what you're seeing from Disney now. This is the problems. And that's the real issue that Variety magazine, they glide over it, but they never land on the target. And I get what they're doing. It's still Variety. And again, for it being Variety, I respect the fact that they even had the nuts to write that article.
Right, exactly. The fact they had the fact they wrote it is the news.
I will give
the
credit where credit is due.
Article
to that extent.
Yeah. There's an interesting thing about that article and all this Marvel news that's making its way out here. Makes me wonder what Victoria Alonso has been up to and who she's been talking to lately.
You think?
And this giant book praising Kevin Feige comes out just a couple weeks before this massive expose from Variety talking about how bad the House of Marvel is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shout out to Peter, who threw a $10 PayPal to me saying I have to support this sort of thing. Thank you so much for Peter. Appreciate that. Appreciate you guys showing support, whether it's on PayPal, whether it's on Locals, whether it's on Rumble or YouTube. Seriously, guys, you help all of us. And make sure you guys are subscribed to Valiant for, of course, the earnings call. Jonas J. Campbell for Everything Woke, well, Getting Wrecked, and all the other good channels out there, all the other friends of the channels, all those other horrible, horrible analysts that do not know what they're talking about at all whatsoever, which is always fun. Natasha said, for 5, if vampires were real WWW, wouldn't need peanut butter in their own dot. Oh, Natasha, are we going back to the cuck article already? Are we already doing that? That was the beginning of the show.
Took me a second there. Yeah.
Rewind to the beginning.
Don't.
Rewind to the beginning for the CNN article, okay? It's an actual, by the way, it's a real article, okay? It's a real article. Kate C, aka Snake Plush Kitten, says vampires do have periods. Regency period, Victorian period, Edwardian period, Georgian, Elizabethan period.
All right, I'll give you that.
I see what you did there.
I'll give you that.
And you know what? It's even wholesome. So much love for that. Thank you, Kate C. That is You definitely get points there. So Jonas, what are you going to be getting into? Do you have anything coming up that you'd like people to know about?
Well, first of all, yeah, I've launched a new channel. Danielle's already got me in the in links in the chat there, so thank you, Danielle. We're the That Park Place channel. We're covering news stories. We were gonna try to keep it light, but man, this week is intense. Marvel, Hulu, which by the way, there's some I'll say some buggery with those numbers on Hulu. They're saying that 33% of 27.5 billion is 8.6 billion. Basic math says there's something wrong there.
That doesn't add up.
Well, that's what I was reading that, and I'm
like,
like,
yeah?
Yes, sir.
There is something.
Okay, so let me hit that subscribe button.
Awesome.
Look at that subscription added by Legal Mindset. Follow your dear leader's example. Come over here and subscribe to That Park Place.
Yeah, there's something wrong with those numbers on Hulu. And by the way, I've gotten a source from maybe the other side of that says that's just a little bit of gamesmanship on Uyghur's part. So that is the opening number here.
It seems like they were suggesting that there was like actually a capital investment that was still due from Comcast, the way that was written. For example, meaning that every year Comcast and Disney had an agreement based on, I guess, from the Fox purchase or something.
So they have some sort of offset. They're going to use some,
like there was something like, well, it seemed like they said, well, we're going to value this at 27 billion, and then our purchase price based on that would be 8.61 billion, which of course is less than the third that Jonas correctly stated. But because Comcast owed some type of additional capital investment, so like they're netting that out. So there's something interesting that's going on there that apparently nobody was privy to before now, because that would have been very tightly concealed under former contracts, I'm sure. But they're starting to eke this out.
Well, maybe that gets them to their initial number, but once again, I like you said, I don't think these numbers are final yet, and agreed upon by both parties. So I think that maybe
they're going to have to hire the third analyst. Yeah.
Right. The third person to analyze the cost of Hulu, right?
Yeah, because I will say that, just as a matter of record, several months ago, and I covered this in a video, Morgan Stanley came in with the lowest yield. They said that Hulu was worth basically what the minimum valuation was in the original contract that Disney inherited in 2019. Who did Disney hire for their official valuation expert? Morgan Stanley.
Right.
So just for the record, and Comcast hired JP Morgan Chase JP or Chase Bank or whatever.
Right.
So there's that. So they're going to have to go find somebody else. They're going to have to go find a Wells Fargo or a Bank of America or somebody else, some other major, institutional firm with an analysis division to do this kind of thing that they're going to have to agree to an arbitrage in arbitration to get this done.
Right. If the other bank values it at more than 30.25 billion, then it automatically triggers that a third bank that both of these investment banks have to agree on gets that valuation.
So there's going to be a tiebreaker.
The idea that inflation and the fact that Hulu has appreciated in value would keep it somehow at 27.5 billion is patently ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. J Leib got member for 3 months. Say Rangers win the World Series. God bless Texas. Shout out to the Rangers and Texas. Appreciate you, Jay. Member for 3 months. Actually, you've been a member for longer. I think you just had it got interrupted there, but shout out to you, Jay. Good to see you. World Series champions of 2023. So shout out to the Texas Rangers and all those Texas Rangers fans out there.
Hoorah.
Good old baseball. But that being said, guys, we've had a good old show here today. Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade, Jonas J. Campbell. Gentlemen, stick around for a little bit after the show. We'll have a nice chit chat. But guys, tomorrow, anime episode. We're doing it live here from Tokyo, Japan. I'm going to go see some Gundams today. We're going to have some fun today. Tomorrow, we will do that in the morning. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully, I have some guests on. I'm going to throw out a bunch of invites to all the weebs of the internet. I have some stuff I want to talk about But thank you guys for joining me. We'll have more news on Disney, on ridiculousness, on lawsuits, all that up in the future. So stay tuned here to Legal Mindset in the future. Catch you guys later. Peace.
See ya.
See you.